So as always, this will be recorded. We'll post on YouTube afterwards. We're going to run through all of our analysis for this week. So all the ideas that we're looking for, you guys that are new to the call, we'll pretty much go through like 10 pairs or so. And we're mainly going to be focused on like the 4-hour and higher time frame. So we're looking at more swing trade ideas. All the analysis is posted in Telegram and Discord, so you guys can go up and read up in there afterwards. But yeah, if you have any questions, hit the chat. And that being said, let's just pretty much get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Angelo pretty much said it all. You know, these are live charts, so you guys can reference these pretty much anytime during the week and see how they're playing out. You know, that's how we kind of set this up. We'll give you guys the potential week movement ahead. And yeah, it's just active all weekend. So yeah, we're going to share the chart right here. Right now, we're going to get into it. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Drop in chat. That way you guys actually can ask questions too. All right, cool. Good. So we're going to start off here on DXY. So I'm pretty much just going to take you guys through the daily time frame. We're just going to grab the trend from the daily time frame. Then we're going to drop to the 4-hour and discuss two potential likely scenarios for the week ahead. You know, based on you know, just riding a trend essentially. So nothing too ridiculous. You know, we're not really playing any breakouts. It's more so just looking to follow price action. So we'll get to that in a second. But let's start off with the daily time frame. So we're literally just looking for the trend here. Okay, if you want to zoom out a little bit more, you can see where price action has been. We were generally bearish over here on the left, right where this marker is. Again, generally bearish. We're falling lower, lower lows, lower highs, and so on. And once price action broke below this monthly, we were really in you know, a daily downtrend now, because this was a major level. So this was a massive transition. So this kind of set all the time frames bearish once this had happened, once we confirmed and moved lower. So this has really been the main level for recent price action, right? Generally, as we're moving above, we're seeing a lot of bullish pressure. As we're moving below, we're seeing a lot of bearish pressure. Okay, so where are we now? We're above the monthly, right? We're forming higher highs, higher lows, little more consolidation in here, but overall still very bullish. Okay, so that's the trend. We know that on the daily. So let's go to the 4-hour, see how this trend is lining up, and then discuss these ideas. Okay, so the 4-hour is actually bearish. You can see we were getting higher highs, higher lows here, higher highs. Now we're, you know, it's reversing. This is a giant reversal. We're getting lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and so on and so on. So price action is actually retesting this level right now, which we can clearly identify as a range in the past. Okay, we've seen price action react quite a bit in this area. But what's interesting about this is that we have a nice, strong higher low right here. Okay, so this is really setting us up nicely. Okay, so we were bearish on the 4-hour, you know, lower lows, lower highs. We broke a lower high, got a higher low now, and now we're looking for the higher high. So we're back to bullish. Okay, this is beautiful to see. So very likely that it's going to continue with this. This is a nice amount of momentum stepping into the market now. Probably should see this. If it is going to push higher, we'll see some entry opportunities pretty soon, you know, for on other pairs. You know, the dollar's going to be bullish, so we're going to be expecting, you know, that type of movement on other pairs. So definitely could continue higher. Or what's the opposite? You know, it just continues to bounce within this range. In that case, we'd see a nice reversal at this level, pretty much right here at 92.75, right at this prior high. We'll see that reverse and then head lower. So it really just depends on how price action reacts right here and if this momentum is going to continue. But it's looking promising right now. Definitely looking more bullish. This is a really nice setup at this level here. And if we look in the past, you know, we had a nice higher low here, followed through pretty well, and pushed above the range. So we'll see it play out and then make some decisions based on that. Okay, so that's DXY. Now, we don't actually trade DXY. We use this more as an indication, as I was kind of explaining, because, again, this is the U.S. dollar. If the U.S. dollar is moving with a lot of momentum, we'll see that on a lot of the major pairs as well, because, you know, it's a reserve currency. It makes up for 80% of all trade. It's just, you know, the dollar is a heavy hitter. You know, you really want to know what this thing's doing. Okay, so let's move over to AU. First tradable pair. We're going to do the exact same thing, right? Because we're trend traders with a focus on price action. So we're going to go to the daily time frame, just do a quick analysis, see where price action's been, what the current trend is. Okay, so we can see on the left here, were very bullish. Then we formed a nice, strong, wide range right here, kind of neutral market movement on this time frame. And then we saw a nice transition. So price action broke through this weekly at 0.76, gave us a lower high, and then started heading lower and lower. So this is technically just a test right here. We don't have a confirmed high or low yet or anything. So we are technically still bearish on the daily. Let's now go to the 4-hour, see what's going on here, what this trend's looking like. So the 4-hour was showing a little bit of bullish momentum here, right? This whole bullish leg here. It actually cleared the range, and this was the opportunity. You now see your application. Okay, so price action had pushed above the range, and this was the opportunity for it to form a higher low to confirm this, the strong bullish trend on the 4-hour, and then potentially, a nice transition on the higher time frame. This is where that higher low on the daily would come into play. That would kind of set this off as a daily bullish trend, and then we'd be looking at this totally different. But it failed to give us the higher low. Instead, it fell back below 0.74 and actually confirmed a lower high. A pretty nice one. It pulled back through the MAs, and then fell back through them, and now we're looking at a cross that's pretty much going to happen any candle now. So looking pretty bearish. Okay, this is a range in the past, so that's likely that it'll continue to range, which is why we have these two conservative options, right? We're waiting for a break of that. If this is going to follow through bearish and continue, we'll definitely see a lower high below the range, which case we'll enter short, and then we have plenty of room for this to fall, and we'll target 0.72 among other levels, but looking pretty bearish right now, so this is closer to happening than this, in my opinion. If we are to consider AU bullish, we want to see that higher low that failed to form over here, just above 0.74. So that'd be absolutely perfect, and then we'd switch our bias, no problem, and then we'd start targeting higher towards this resistance level, 0.75. Okay, but yeah, looking pretty good. Again, just got to wait a little bit. This is actually playing out pretty good. A little bit of Sunday consolidation, into tomorrow morning. Then maybe we can get some nice momentum in the beginning of the New York session. That would be ideal. Just see that dollar kind of start to move. But for now, yeah, good setup for a Sunday. So we'll see how this one plays out. Let's move over to AJ. Okay, this one's going to be pretty similar, a little closer to entry, as I would think this is showing a lot more bearish momentum, but we'll get to that in a second. Daily time frame. What are we doing here, guys? Grabbing the trend. We were bullish for a while. Kind of saw some neutral market movement right here, similar to AU. Nice consolidation, then a nice reversal here on a break of 83.25. This weekly right here. See all this momentum, pushed lower, came back up for the retest, gave us that lower high, and then we've been bearish since then. Okay. In fact, the volume has actually been increasing. We've been getting this really nice market structure, right? Nice level here. Price action breaks, retest twice, good pattern in there, then steps in with this huge momentum, right? Then reverses, pulls all the way back, and it's still technically bearish, right? We're right at the 200 EMA. We're right at 81.4. Nice resistance level. So again, still technically bearish, but let's go to the 4-hour and get a closer look, see what's really going on. Okay, so as we can see, nice 4-hour bullish trend, came all the way back up to 81.4. Didn't give us the higher, well, it actually did attempt a higher low, but it didn't, to form a higher low, but it didn't follow through. Okay, so this is nice rejection. It's definitely what you want to see, right? It pulls back through the MAs, throws some wicks, throws a little bit of consolidation, but then you want to see that bullish momentum follow through, and that's how you confirm this is a higher low, right? So this first blue candle was good. We needed the second candle to follow through in a similar way, crossing the MAs. That could have been a nice bullish entry, but instead, it fell below 81.4, bounced a little bit, gave us that lower high, and again, huge bearish momentum. So this is definitely looking short. You could enter now. Technically, in my opinion, it'd be more of a confidence trade, as if you just look to the left, this has acted as a range before. So I really want to be, conservative on this one as well. I'm in no rush. If an entry shows itself tomorrow and gives us that lower high below 87.5, that's perfect for me. I don't need to enter on something that is slightly more risk. I'll let the market come to me, see what I want to see, and then we'll enter short. This is a lot of room to drop, as you guys can see, from 87.5 all the way down to 79. So this could be a really profitable trade that's worth waiting for. So I'm just going to wait for that to play out, and then we'll be short. Okay, but if we were to consider this bullish, what do we need to see? Very simply, higher low above this prior range, and 81.4. And that'd be really nice. Get a nice trade in there. Definitely at least 2 to 1, depending on where this higher low forms. But yeah, we'll take it as it forms. See how this plays out in the next couple of days. All right, but that's AJ pretty clean. I mean, this has been a nice pattern. Good movement on AJ lately. So hopefully it continues and we get to catch that that drop, one more time. All right, let's move over to UJ. Damn, it's pulling back a little bit. That's upsetting. Hopefully this rejects, but we'll get to that in a second. Daily time frame, same thing, guys. Grabbing the overall trend. So we only really need this bit of price action here. As you can see, very, very bullish, right? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Now we're ranging. So technically, we're still overall bullish if you consider the overall trend. Price action's been moving up. Strong characteristics of a bullish trend. Okay, let's move over to the 4-hour now, see what this time frame is telling us. All right, let's zoom out, get all this in view, get this auto scroll crap off, and just set this up a little better. There we go. Sworn I adjusted that, but anyway, moving sideways, as we were saying. So definitely we can see resistance off the bat at 110, right? Even this minor level up here at 110.30 has reacted to some degree. We've been seeing huge rallies into this level, followed by very strong reversals. Okay, all of which have failed to form a higher low above 110.30. So that's really the key to going long here, right? We need to see that break. We need to see this finally break and confirm, see that higher low with nice, confirmation. Price action needs to follow through after it breaks a level. That's how you confirm it, right? It's not going to break a level and then kind of flatline. No, a real break is when momentum steps into the market, blows through a level, forms normal market structure, pulls back, and then continues again. Okay, it's always gonna follow through if it's a real break. Okay, that's how you kind of determine the difference. So that's what we're looking for right now, right? We're seeing a lot of consolidation, a little bit of a pattern. Either way, even if the pattern continues to form from now, we're waiting for a lower high below 110, and there's a minor level here to be a little more precise, 109.85. Like ideally right now, if this just reversed, confirm this lower high with some nice bearish setups, this would be an absolute perfect short opportunity. Something like this, right? Well over 2 to 1, closer to 3 to 1. If it rejects now and gives us that setup, that'd be really good. That'd be ideal, but we got to wait on it, right? We're on the 4-hour here. A couple more candles could form and then finally zero entry. So we'll wait for that. Okay. And yeah, if it goes bullish, again, you just got to really clear this level. This has to really break and then follow through. None of this fake out crap in the past. Because if you just take a closer look at this and just analyze it in terms of structure, if all these attempted breaks, what did they all lack? Structure, following through after, a break with a higher low. We didn't see the higher low here, didn't see it here. We almost saw it here, but as we talked about on the other, I believe it was AU, we just did not see price action follow through after this higher low. It got, stuck in consolidation, saw some rejection, and couldn't make the cross and couldn't give us that variation we needed, unfortunately. So it dropped. We were analyzing that in the past, if you guys remember. This didn't play out, and I went with trade scenario 2 and fell all the way down back to support at 109.2. Hopefully that's not going to happen now. Hopefully we just see this flop, but if it does, push higher, don't get caught in a fake out. All right. So that's UJ. Let's move on to EJ, daily time frame. Same thing, grabbing the trend. We were bullish, saw a nice slow reversal, pretty much a head and shoulders, left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline, right at the weekly. So when that level broke, we were full blown bearish, right? Huge break here, pull back to a lower high, confirmed it, and then dropped again. So definitely bearish. And then even right now, so we had a nice pullback, still technically bearish, is more or less a test. And then we also saw some bearish momentum kind of push it back down below 130. So we're pretty much bearish still. Let's go to the 4-hour now, see what this time frame is telling us. So here was, there we go, a nice bearish channel, good patterns throughout, nice structure, break and retest all over the place. So this was really nice to see. Then we saw that 4-hour bullish trend step in, attempted break, and it looked pretty good. It looked like it was going to hold for a while, right? It pushed above 130, didn't really test 130, but we were moving sideways. It had the potential to form a pattern right in here, but instead, more or less a double top, push lower, back below 130, and then gave us a confirmed lower high. So do you guys see how that's a transition like perfectly? Right, this is a nice higher low here. Price action held the support. It broke, came back, retested, and then this bearish candle is an engulfing that confirms this lower high. Hopefully you guys can understand that, especially at a key level, that's really important. And now it's pushing lower. So there's two ways you could play this. Either it's an entry now, which is slightly more risky, or you could wait for some lower time frame retests just to get in on something that would give you more confidence, maybe on a 1 hour or 30-minute. But yeah, it's looking bearish, guys. I mean, this thing is definitely looking like it could drop down to 128.9. This is a pretty clean setup. I'd be happy, shorting if it was, maybe tomorrow. Sunday, I don't normally take trades. So I'll take a look at this one really early tomorrow, see if we see some action around the New York session. But for now, I'm just going to wait. If it plays out and I miss it, so be it. I'm sticking to my rules at the end of the day. I'm not going to cry over one missed trade if it does drop anyway. But what needs to happen for us to consider EJ bullish? The reverse of this needs to happen. We need to break back above 130 with a nice higher low and then strong bullish setups. Okay, something like this here, maybe with a little more conviction. I mean, this definitely would have been close to an entry, but obviously just got stopped. So just one of those trades where everything kind of lined up and then it reversed on you anyway. So we just want to see something with a little more conviction, a little more of a, with, a little more just confirmation in general, back above 130 to consider this bullish. All right, so that's EJ looking pretty good. We'll see how this one plays out. So let's move over to gold. Gold is looking interesting. I think we're finally out of this daily time frame. All this consolidation that's been happening just sucks. So let's just grab the trend from the daily. Bearish right off the bat, guys. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, so on and so on. But there is one thing that you guys need to be aware of. It's this 1800 level, right? So if we're moving above this, we've pretty much seen this level act as support, super strong support, and massive, just a lot of reaction out of this level. So the fact that we've been seeing a ton of consolidation in here is kind of worrying. It means we can't really take great trades based on the trend. Now you could trade the range. By all means, it's up to you. I personally like riding the trend. That's why I've been kind of, on the bench with gold here. I haven't been trading it that actively because of all this ranging and just 1825 key resistance, 1800 key support. It's just not clear where gold wants to go yet, right? But overall, pretty bearish. Looking for this to kind of continue with this trend. But again, we know how to play ranges at this point, right? We really need to wait for that confirmed break. Lower highs outside if we're going short, below if we're going short, higher lows if we're going long. So let's go to the 4 hour for a second. Let's just talk about what's happening right now. Okay, so we did have a nice bullish 4 hour trend, right? Higher highs, higher lows, we're moving higher. We expected the reversal at 1825. It happened, and now it shot all the way back down to 1800 rather quickly. So this is more or less a transition here of the 4 hour trend. Okay, so the 4 hour is pretty much bearish. So it's likely that it will continue as we're seeing right now. Nice bearish momentum, good bearish variation. We're getting that cross right now. Just got that cross actually on this previous candle, and it's looking bearish. So again, just as we covered on EJ, you have two options: either enter short now, wait for a break and retest of this minor level 1787 to be just a little more conservative, because this range has again been forming forever. It seems like weeks and weeks. So you really just want to make sure the range is truly broken. So this is what the conservative option would look like. Just want to see it clear this zone. There you go. Good. All right. Very good. Pretty much like this, right? Nice final push. Boom, well into the zone, pull back, retest, lower high. It can even wick up to this 200 EMA a little bit and still be considered a lower high. Just depends on where that body closure really happens and then how it follows through. So this could be a really great short. We'll be looking to get over 400 pips, playing it from 1787 to 1740. That's massive. And yeah, hopefully it plays out. I mean, I'd love to catch a gold short this week. We're definitely overdue. That'd be nice to see. Okay, so what's the flip side to this? What needs to happen for us to consider gold bullish again? very simply a reversal at this level, right? It's likely that we could see this continue to range. This is not the true break yet. That's the other scenario. You can play the range if you want. I wouldn't take this trade because it's still, even if it is bullish on the 4-hour, it's still waiting for a larger move to take place, right? We're waiting for that daily trend to figure out where it wants to go. And, could shoot to the upside, could shoot to the downside within this range. And, we just want to wait until that real break happens because we want to be on the right side of the market rather than trying to guess where that break's going to happen. All right, so that's gold. And I actually did say to you guys that I would cover one bonus pair, and that's US 30. I mean, a lot of people have been looking at US 30 lately, so I figured I'd give it a shot. We're going back into the indices. I've actually been trading this the last couple of weeks, so it's been good to see. So this is a daily analysis. I'm going to keep it light. I'm not going to go too in depth on this. I just want to give you guys pretty much the breakdown of what the structure has been here on US 30. Okay, so we've been pretty much bullish on all time frames, right? But we are at a key level, 35,000, right? Nice key level. We're obviously seeing a lot of reaction here. We saw a lot of consolidation. Price action was struggling to figure out where it wanted to go. Finally got the break. We got the higher low. It followed through, but it didn't push to a higher high, right? We got a lower high instead. Tons of consolidation. And now it looks like it's reversing from 35,000, which is absolutely huge. So if we see a nice 4-hour transition take place, some sort of lower high on the 4-hour that we can confirm, this could be in for a massive short opportunity. Okay, but again, it needs to form a lower high below this little pattern here and well below 35,000. So this is what it would look like. We'd be targeting down towards support. Very good level. It's very reasonable that we're targeting this prior wicks. We also shot through this level multiple times in the past, and it's acted as support. So it makes a lot of sense. 33.8, good level, well over 2 to 1, just based on this rough layout here. But pretty much that's what we're looking at, guys. All right, and for us to consider long scenarios, higher low above 35,000, and then outside this pattern ideally. It's a couple confirmations. It's reasonable, it's conservative, and this would be really nice to see. All right, so potential huge movements here on US 30, guys. Interesting week. So there's some pretty good setups in there, but that's pretty much all I got for you guys. If I'm going to do a quick recap, it'll be, DXY. We covered AU, we covered AJ, covered UJ, EJ, gold, and US 30. All right, so I'm going to pass it off to Angelo. He's going to cover some other pairs. And yeah, could you recap at the end on which one, Travis? Gold is a heartbreaker, I know. Nick, sorry you missed XY. No worries. I can't do a full recap. It'll take too much time. But Angelo's going to cover DXY. He normally does at the beginning of his analysis. But it's also recorded, and we posted the analysis in Discord and Telegram. So you can watch all of those, go all over all those, and then listen to Angelo. So thank you guys. That's all I got for you guys now. For now.
Yeah, we'll hop on DXY first. Let's take a look at what's going on here. We'll bump up to the weekly. So DXY has definitely been moving up, ever since it retested this previous low right here. We've been just shooting to the upside, breaking resistance, testing a support, and then again, breaking resistance. And we actually hiked all the way back down into this level. So it looks like DXY is going to push again to the upside. The one thing that I'm noticing here is this previous week's candle, failed to engulf that candle. And we do have a wick here. So what that's telling me is that sellers stepped in right here. And let's go ahead and look this. So sellers stepped in right here, pushed to the downside, and we came back up, kind of failed to actually engulf this previous candle. So as we get down to the 4-hour time frame, kind of break that down and take a look as to what is going on. This is how I sort of interpret it. I'm seeing price move to the downside, forming this lower high, and then again, just steadily forming this downtrend. And then we have this, where it was kind of a break, and we're getting a retest. And now look, so it looks as though we're going to push to the upside on this one on DXY. So with that in mind, let's just shift over and first kind of look at UCAD, because if the dollar is going to push up, if it is going to gain strength, then the UCAD will most likely push up as well. And remember, this 93 area has been pretty much the key zone for quite some time here. We retested it previously, moved down. Now we're just kind of bouncing off that level, multiple times. So I am expecting at this point for it to come back up into that zone. So looking at UCAD on the weekly time frame, I mean, look at the last couple weeks. It's kind of just been in a downtrend, but now we're starting to do these breaks and retests over and over again. And last week, pretty much, we had the break, now we had the retest, and last week closed, with this inverted hammer candle engulfing the previous candle. So this thing is telling us that structure is going to most likely continue to push to the upside. I would be surprised if it just died out and kind of like fell over right now, considering how this is forming and then coming down to the 4-hour time frame. I was kind of just breaking this down for myself while I was doing my own analysis. And I noticed that we had this huge push down, however many pips this is. We had a 340, 320 pip push to the downside. And then pretty much price formed this next lower high, push down. And then last week, this is that inverted hammer candle, that bullish engulfing. If you actually like go up to the weekly, right here, you got this. So if you ever have trouble going between time frames and identifying structure or identifying like how this breaks down, this actual bullish engulfing, just go like this, go on the weekly, go on whatever time frame, go down to a lower time frame. This is some of the stuff, just the basics that we're showing like inside of the course is weekly time frame, highlight that. All right, so this is that weekly candle broken down into a lower time frame. And we can clearly see here, we're in that downtrend and we broke to the upside. Now we retested it, and it is most likely that this thing will continue to start to push. Whenever we see this type of transition, we want to fib this. So just to break this down without even being on the chart, this is basically what we are looking at right now. We have a downtrend, boom, and then we had a little bit of a break, came back for the retest. This is right where we're at the moment. And then this is the beginning of potentially a bullish trend. So you can see we're in this downtrend, then we break this lower high. And whenever you have the break, that's when we're going to do our fibs. And this is exactly what we're doing right here on the chart. So it's just like how we always practice this. So coming back over here, again, we're looking for the first higher low. I mean, this right here would be a higher low point. I mean, we have the 61.8 was tested this previous low right here. So this is definitely a support level. And then you have the engulfing. So those are 3 confirmations there. Now, if we wanted to wait, what I would look for is like a retest. Since we just had a breakout on the lower time frame, I'd wait for like a retest and then get it on this thing to go long. So right now we're just kind of waiting for that entry, because if we come in and actually highlight this, come down to the lower time frame, just like on the weekly, we're coming down to the lower time frame and we're seeing a very similar situation here. We're seeing price was in a downtrend, and then we broke the downtrend, we broke this lower high, and then we're yet to make that first higher low. So when we're looking at for this, we're looking for our like best entry when actually using the lower time frame like this. We are waiting for that first pullback. So that's what we're waiting on right now. But UCAD's looking as though it could be ready to push to the upside. If this never finds support, if it just starts to retrace, never actually finds support, and then just moves down to the downside, then obviously this will be invalidated. So we'll see how this one plays out. Let's go next to GJ. Let's start up on the weekly time frame. So GJ on the weekly time frame, we're in between these 2 levels right now. So we have resistance up here, we have support down here. But just look at this a little bit more closely over the last couple of weeks, guys. We've been in this kind of downtrend, moving to the downside. So breaking support, retesting it, breaking support, retesting it. And then last week, we actually formed this doji candle right here. So we're opening up after forming this doji. So this is really shaping up to be like a nice reversal, push to the downside right now. So let's just break this down to the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour, I noticed that we're in an uptrend. So we're making higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low over and over again. So for me to actually get into that sell, to actually take advantage of that weekly zone that we are in, I need to see some sort of break and retest. And as of now, I would at least need to see this level break and then retest, have that first lower high. Because again, we did an example of a downtrend to an uptrend. This is just an uptrend to a downtrend. So this is exactly what we would need to see, something like this, a little bit of a break. And then we'll look to enter pretty much right here. And this is the basics that we haven't been going over too much on the calls, but like we've been literally going over these concepts for, a long time, because it's very simple. Just market structure, uptrends, shifting to downtrends, the transition, and then waiting for that first lower high to take advantage. So that is GJ. My idea is really to short this. Now, in the event that it does come down and starts to reject this support level pretty dramatically, because this is in this uptrend on the 4-hour time frame. Now, the reason I'm anticipating a sell is because of the weekly. We're seeing the weekly has been forming these lower lows and lower highs over and over. Like the last time this formed this doji, and then we had this area very similar to where we're at now. We had caught a move in here as well. So that's the move that we're ultimately looking for. That's what looks like it's shaping up. Obviously, the market can do whatever it would like to do. So this 4-hour could find support here and then just push to the upside. I'm not too big on trying to take a move there, but basically if it did come down to the 151,700 area and then find a lot of support, that would be a reason to then take some buys. So that's GJ. Let's move over next to USD CHF. So we've got weekly time frame on this one. We've got our resistance level at 92500. We've got our support level at 90500 down here. So we've pretty much just been consolidating over and over again, guys. And I have all this traced out right now, but if we were to just take this off temporarily, we can clearly see price is moving up, but there's a lot of wicks, so we're getting a ton of wicks in this like consolidation zone. So this thing could definitely fall over and push to the downside. But as we're kind of going down to a lower time frame, down to the 4-hour time frame right now, if we're looking at structure, just kind of like zooming out and having an overall view, we can see these lower highs were forming. And then we had the break. So this thing broke to the upside and we have our first pullback right now. And it's definitely formed a higher low. So we just had an engulfing candle, that closed with last week. This tested that support area, 78.6. So there's 3 confirmations there. Whenever you have 3 confirmations, it's a good signal to try to get in on a trade. So at this point, this would kind of be the swing trade idea. It would be putting stops around this area, targeting the -27 area, and going for like a 2.1 risk reward right here. So this would be the trade idea with USF. Honestly, if you did want to get in on this right now, I would probably throw stops in this area right here, 91500, and then just enter this thing and target the -27. Because if this does come back down to this area, we don't want to be in the trade anyway. So that's a good spot to put your stop loss. Gives you enough kind of room to mess around with. Now, if it does come down and break out, then we're going to look for the break and retest. The same, thing as before, look for structure to break and retest. But I think USF is a good potential move to go to the upside. So I'm going to leave that one mapped out. I'm just going to come back to UCAD real quick. So UCAD obviously is on its way. So yeah, we'll wait a little bit more on UCAD, but we're going to push USF to the top. Let's go over to GU. Let's come up to the weekly. All right, so always just starting on the weekly, guys. We're going to just run through, what's going on this time frame. Where are the key levels? I have my lower level marked right here based on this, right? And then the upper levels based on resistance. So those are my two key levels. And just coming down to the actually where we are right now, we can see we have the spinning top candle right here. We're at a resistance level, definitely. If we just look at it like this, push down, come up, push down, come up, push down. So this would be the next move, another leg down. And then to the downside, that's what would make the most sense. Just looking at the weekly time frame. Coming down to the 4 hour, we can see that the 4 hour is actually currently in an uptrend. So the 4 hour was in a downtrend, and then we broke this lower high right here, transitioned to an uptrend. We had a little bit of a retest right there, and then now we're in this uptrend. So for me to actually take a sell on this, as of now, I would have to wait for some structure to break. So it would have to look like something similar basically to this. We would have to see a break of support, retest, move to the downside. On the flip side, if this thing does come down, I'm just going to fib from this area, because for those that know how to use the fibs, we're not going to move them until it's actually broken the 0% level, this previous high. So we got our fibs on here. So if we just take all this off for a second, this is what we're looking for. Does 38.2 have support? Is it a good support level? If we look left, we can actually map out a support and resistance level in this zone based on, I'm going to actually just use a rectangle. So it's just based on there is an area where there was resistance here. There's an area where there was support here. I'm talking about this, talking about this. So price could certainly bounce off of this zone and move to negative 27. Or if we look to the downside, the more likely area that this thing would come to is going to be this area. And then if it does move all the way down there, we could still look for a buy, and then we'll start to target. So I like to just map these out. These are the two trade ideas on this. Now, if you did want to like intraday trade this on a lower time frame, pretty much what you're just going to be looking at is you're in a downtrend, enter on lower highs, target these upper levels that we just marked right here. So if you're in a trade right now and this thing moves down 15 pips, whatever, monitor around this level. If it breaks that level, it's going to move down to the 1377 area, because there's really nothing holding it before it reaches that price. So that's GU. Nothing, nothing close to entry now, because this candle, so we're about 19 minutes away from closing. This is definitely a reversal candle, and we're forming like a spinning top right here. So this thing is definitely shaping up to be a reversal candle, but we just want to wait for that to close. And then we're going to come to Euro USD next. We'll jump up to the weekly. So weekly time frame on this one, as we can see, weekly has been overall in an uptrend. So we pushed to the upside, broke out of this huge downtrend, had this big push. Now we're back at support right now. We just tested it. One thing that I just was thinking when I was doing my analysis was we hit this level 17 area, right? Then we had this bullish engulfing candle. So we've already pulsed down into this area and found support and pushed up. So if this thing comes down and tests this area again, rejects it again, I mean, this thing's most likely going to push to the upside. As we come to the 4 hour, it definitely has already broken into an uptrend right now. So I'm trying to take buys on this pretty much in all scenarios right now. I'm trying to definitely buy this market. If price manages to break this would be the most ideal area opportunity to basically take a buy at. So we're going to wait. I don't want to necessarily buy it here. It could then fail. move to the downside because I don't like how this lower high already was made. So we're going to wait for this more break and retest on that one. And then obviously if this thing does break this support level, then we are just going to take some sells to the downside. So that's EU. And then last but not least, I'm going to go over NU. So NU last week or last couple weeks has had this like huge push to the upside. And the only thing left to do now is to really retest this upper level again. We tested this level, a lot of rejection here. Now we're definitely in an uptrend on the lower time frames. Pretty much just look at this weekly level. This weekly level was broken of resistance, not just broken, it was broken with a 120 pip move or whatever to the upside. So this thing had a ton of momentum shifting to the upside. Now coming to the 4 hour, we can clearly see 4 hour is definitely in an uptrend, and more immediately we are actually in an uptrend right now. So if this thing closes like it is now with this doji, this is actually like a prime candidate to just take a trade more immediately. We've got like our support level can be down there. We can target pretty much the previous highs first, but with it in mind that we could swing it all the way up into this upper level. We could just zoom out and look left and kind of just look, okay, this next high was right here. We have another high point here because we want to just have multiple levels where we're going to monitor this thing at. So this trade definitely is shaping up. I'll see how it closes and then pretty much just signal this in the chat afterwards. Like Nick said, he's starting to look at US 30 a little bit more. Definitely a lot of US 30 trades are coming out in the rapid signal room from the various traders that we have going on in there. So definitely look out for those trades that have been going really well. And we're gonna, show some updates this week, with some of the trades that we're taking, some of the ideas. So as always, we'll post those up, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll get this on YouTube for those that hopped on and want to rewatch it, whatever. We'll get this on YouTube. I got an announcement coming tomorrow in the telly, so I'll put out a little message on some updates for us. But yeah, that's it. Another week.
Yeah.
Let's get back at it.
Yeah, guys, another one, right? Yeah, hope you guys are ready. If not, hopefully this got you ready. But yeah, Angela pretty much said it all. If you want to refer back to this stuff, it's active all week in Discord or telly. But enjoy the rest of the weekend, guys. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll see you guys throughout the week.
Oh yeah, big things coming this week. Have fun, everyone. Peace out.
Peace, guys.